So Planned Parenthood just recently released a commercial basically saying virginity is made up. Now, before I really get into this commercial, I just want to give you a brief history of Planned Parenthood and what is their ultimate goal. Now, this right here is Margaret Sanger. In 1916, she was an American birth control crusader. Margaret Sanger opened the first control clinic in the United States, which led to her arrest for distributing information on contraception. Sanger founded the American Birth Control League, which later became what is called now Planned Parenthood Federation of America. She has been criticized for supporting eugenics. Now, in 1939, she wrote a letter to this man right here. His name is Dr. Clarence Gamble, and that last name may sound familiar to you. Clarence's grandfather was James Gamble, co-founder of Procter and Gamble. Now, in 1939, Margaret Sanger started something called the Negro Project. In 1939, on December 10th, she also wrote this letter to Dr. C.J. Gamble. It says, "Dear Dr. Gamble, it's good to know that you are recovering. I also am stepping up and have felt much better the past week. Miss Delp was here for Thanksgiving, and I am more than delightful to learn that she was able to get $250 from the California Birth Control Organization plus $600 from the Federation. That's good. She is a go-getter and a live wire. Very tactful and charming as well. I think that my pick of her has been justified. Even though she is a little higher priced than the ordinary, she has been working on the article to be written by Miriam D. Ford, Mr. Maynard Shipley. They were good enough to send me a rough draft for comments and suggestions, and important suggestions that I made was not to include Miss Delp's actual name in the article because of the fact that her sister is married to one of the high spots in the Foreign Security Department, and if the enemy started to work on her name, they might make it difficult along the line. Otherwise, I think the article is good. As to my sending suggestion to the Federation, I think it is really unfair for me to do so. I am too far away to have the personal contact of the different reactions, and it only holds up any definite project to have the pros and cons bettered about, which makes for more chaos and confusion. There is only one thing that I would like to be in touch with, and that is the Negro Project of the South, which, if the execution of the details remains in Miss Rose's hands, my suggestions will not be confusing because she knows the way my mind works. Miss Rose sent me a copy of the letter of December 5th, and I note that you doubt it worthwhile to employ a full-time Negro physician. It seems to me from my experience where I have been in North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas, that while the colored Negroes have great respect for white doctors, they can get closer to their own members and more or less lay their cards on the table, which means they're ignorant, superstitious, and doubts. They do not do this with white people. And if we can train the Negro doctor at the clinic, he can go among them with enthusiasm and with knowledge, which I believe will have far-reaching results among the colored people. His works, in my opinion, should be entirely with the Negro profession and the nurses, hospital social workers, as well as the county's white doctors. His success will depend upon his personality and his training by us. Oh yeah, and there's more. The minister's work is also important, and also he should be trained, perhaps by the Federation, as to our ideals and the goal that we hope to reach. We do not want word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, And the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members. And as you can see at the bottom, I'm not gonna read the rest. I just wanted to get to that main part right there. But it is signed by Margaret Sanger. This is the official letter. And you cannot find this on Google. You have to do a little bit of digging. And as you can see right here, what is the leading cause of death among black people? It's not diabetes, it's not stroke, it's not accidents, cancer, heart disease, or homicide, but it is abortion. 239,000 abortions took place in 2019. So I will say this, right? I do believe in abortion for extreme cases such as rape or incest. But just abusing it and doing it just because you can, when there's other alternatives such as protection and birth control, like that's just completely evil to me. And another thing, this same group that's trying to say that virginity is made up and it's not a big deal, and they're pushing this big sexual freedom movement on the youth, because that's what this is targeted more towards, the teenagers, the boy and teenage girls, mainly the teenage girls. They're basically trying to say, you can go out here, be sexually promiscuous, do whatever you want to sexually, and there will be no consequences. So I just want you to know, the same group that's pushing this agenda to you does not have your best interest at heart. This is coming from the organization that was made by a racist white woman who wanted to push eugenics on the black community to stop our birth rates. And these are the same people that's telling you to be sexually free and there's no consequences to what you do. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But y'all tell me what y'all think about this. I'm not gonna play the video. The video is 3 minutes long, but it's playing everywhere. You can just go on YouTube and check it out.